Hey to you guys, it's Kaden. It's week 16 and the topic is stealth or out. So am I out of the closet or stealth? I'm kind of both, actually. And it sounds odd, but my life is kind of divided in that I have kids, so for the sake of my kids, I choose to be stealth sometimes. Well, I guess the better way to put it is that my kids are stealth. So I force them at this time, because of their age, to be stealth for me. So in my life, I still kind of am out and stealth. I do a lot in the community, so in that aspect, a lot of people know that I'm trans. And I still live where I transitioned, so a lot of people know my history. But at the same time, I was never really close enough to a lot of people that they know who I am now. That being said, if someone were to ask, I would probably tell them, depending on how comfortable I was in the situation. Because it's not something that I hide, but it's not something that I just blast out everywhere either. That being said, I'm also a part of the community where I live, and some of that, speaking and activist type stuff that I do up here, I do reference being a trans man. So it really all depends on who the audience is. If some stranger that I don't know and were to come up to me and ask me, and I had no knowledge of why they were asking me, I would probably deny it. I also work with a nonprofit up here that deals with GLBTQ youth. If a parent came up to me and asked me if I was trans, and it had to do with their daughter or their son, questioning their gender identity, I would probably come out, even if I didn't know them, just because I feel like their intentions might be in a better place. And because I have kids, I have to kind of go back and forth with that, because I don't want my kids being at risk for this. It's our life, and this is what we do. Not like we do anything, but this is how it is, and I don't want to put my kids in any type of, societal bullying because of who their dad is or who their parent is. So that's, I'm kind of both, I guess. Well, I guess being out, I'll do the pros and cons of being out, are that you don't have to hide and you don't have to make a big secret of it. You can also help people who know that you are trans. One of the cons of being out is that you can be the target of harassment and discrimination, and it, depending on who you are and how you handle your feelings, that could be a very bad thing. The pros of being stealth are that you live your life like a man, in my case, and it is what it is. I'm a father, I'm a husband, and that's all that people see when they see me, walking with my family through a store. At this point in my transition, I don't get the odd looks for for holding hands with my wife because I might be gay. So, you know, society sees us in a heteronormative fashion, and that's how I like it, just because every once in a while, you know, with what I do, it's just nice to be overlooked. It really does. Like, I like just blending in with a diverse crowd, and, you know, people aren't questioning what's in my pants. It's irrelevant. The cons of being stealth are that if you know, I mean, in my case, I've had surgery, so it's not such a big deal. Being stealth and not having surgery, if that's what you desire, can be difficult, because, again, you're sneaking around and you're trying to hide all these things and make sure that nobody finds out, and it gets stressful, and it can be hard, and if somebody does find out, the reactions can be difficult to deal with, even if they're positive. Just because even if they have a positive reaction, you never know who's gonna talk. You never know. So if one person finds out and they respond to it, great, but at the end of the day, they could go home and tell their spouse, and who knows what their spouse is going to say to other people, or how they're going to react. And it's just a bad chain reaction that can happen. So is it better in some situations to be stealth where you otherwise aren't stealth? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea how to answer that. The guidelines of being out or stealth, I don't really think there are any guidelines, because I handle being out and being stealth very well at the same time. Like I said, to me it's not a big deal if somebody finds out. I use it as a opportunity to teach people about being trans and about being allies, and I somehow managed to balance that fairly well. So I don't think there are really any guidelines except the ones that you put on yourself. Just know that if you're out of the closet, it is perfectly fine, and if you're stealth, it's perfectly fine. But if you're out of the closet, you don't have to down people who are stealth. And if you're stealth, you don't have to down people for being out, because it's a personal decision. And unfortunately, it's the out trans people that have a bigger voice, obviously, because they're out about it. So I do think that people who are out need to be accountable for what they're saying and the message that they're relaying about trans people, because we're not all the same. We all have different experiences. There's not one way to transition. So I think we just need to be held accountable for what we're saying, and that's about that. So to answer this week's question, are you out or stealth? I am both. So I hope everybody has a good week, and I'll see you next week.